Reynolds steps up. Huntley sacks T.J. Watt. NFL history. Watt has tied Michael Strahan's single-season record. Oh, no.
In the air to right. It's his team, and he did it again. Jack Sawinski wins it for the Pirates. 3 home runs in a game.
What did he say at the last?
Oh, I'm ready. I got to look at this camera.
I thought that thing was on. Oh, it's
No,
Al
we
Levine, the
are-
talking machine.
Oh, Lord.
Welcome to another edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline in the BPTV studio right here in the Municipal Building. Sorry for the little faux pas at the beginning of the show, or faux pas. We're misspeaking here. Thanks for watching us on Comcast 21. Let me repeat that because it's new to me and it's hard to go from 7 to 21. But that's where you're at, watching us on Comcast. Hopefully you're on there. Thank you for watching us on Verizon 32. And that's everywhere in the greater Pittsburgh area. Thank you for watching us on Pittsburgh Sportsline channel. That's worldwide. So please subscribe to our page. Yes. Smokin' Jim hasn't followed us, but he's subscribed, so he's one of the 101. And I gotta do a disclaimer on myself. I thought about since Smokin' Jim came back from his unknown surgery, his unknown hospital stay. And seriously, I thought he had brain surgery. So I'm not going to say it any more than I did right now. So he healed up. And what I wanted to say, we did a Taekwondo at the Providence Charter School, which was the old North Catholic high school. And he beat me and Nick.
Yes, he did.
To the event.
Yes, he did.
That's because he was out all night.
Don't give away a secret, so there'll be less picking on Smokin' Jim. And please subscribe to Pittsburgh Sportsline channel. And thanks to all the Facebook likes I have, somewhere around 6902, Nick, I saw the other day.
Yeah.
It said 6902.
Let's go.
I go, what happened to the other 80 or 90 of them? Just me. But try to pump it up. We have a lot of great sports and things to talk about with you, and other stuff. You know, we add some other fun things in there. We'll not be talking about Bitcoins anymore because people are getting in trouble. And even though they call one of the stadiums crypto.com, we won't talk about that. We'll just talk about the players on the field. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. Smokin' Jim Frazier. His favorite team with Judge is the New York Yankees.
Yes, sir.
And Chip Hayner, please pray for Chip. I don't know if I have to keep repeating this, but he's getting 3 doses of a drip antibiotic each day, every 8 hours, for the next almost 40 more days. So to all of you that wonder where Chip is, he's at home and he won't be on the show. So we have a substitute that's been in here for, I don't know, since November of last year. We can't get rid of Jim Ellenbogen, a.k.a. Guns, and whatever nickname he grew up with, you can bring it up. And we got Nick, VIP, Harry Callis, 93.7, The Fan. We have no competition, so we don't care what media you're watching to, as long as you're tuned in 7 to 8, and then 5 to 7 times the next week. From what are we on? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night at 7. Monday,
Friday, I think we're on 2 nights.
we're on at midnight, and then Monday, maybe 11 in the morning.
But don't forget, too, we got a video on demand channel. We got YouTube and Facebook. You can go back and watch anytime. And we post to Facebook all the time. So there you go.
And that's one of my best assistants in his promo. So since he preempted my promo, I only have one promo to do. And we have Rowan, 13-year-old Rowan. He's been here for, I don't know, maybe 5 months now. He won't leave us either. He's like Ellenbogen. He's here to stay. So we're going to go to our promos. Nick created them with my voice on most of them, and one of them he stars in.
And don't forget Dave did a couple, too.
Did Dave do a couple? Oh, all right. We're doing those promos.
I can't take all the credit.
Smokin' Jim
Got to be
like your
fair.
hat.
No, I appreciate that. So we got a few promos, and Rowan's going to post those up right now, so we will wait patiently. Pittsburgh Sportsline supports the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette Strikers. I worked there for 36 years. My former union, CWA PPMWS 14842, Pittsburgh Local Mailers Union number 22, is on strike. Even though health care benefits were secured for workers by the union, Post-Gazette management cut them out without the union's approval and still expected workers to show up without any coverage. Please cancel your Post-Gazette subscriptions online or in print. Pittsburgh Sportsline supports the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette Union Strikers. Frank Fanera, owner of Olive Oil's Pizzeria and the Hillcrest Shopping Center on Route 88. Call them at 412-831-1900. Every Tuesday night, Olive Oil's Pizzeria provides the host and the amazing volunteer crew with an XL pepperoni pizza and a full steak hoagie. They are delicious. Olive Oils is proud to support Pittsburgh Sportsline and the volunteers at BPTV. Stay Joey strong. Joey Fabus died at 8 years old of brain cancer known as DIPG. Since then, the family has come together with community members to create the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit. Since being founded, they've raised over $100,000. Go to jfccf.org to learn more about DIPG, to help spread awareness, and to see how else you can support and donate towards the fight against this dreaded brain cancer. Always Be Smiling, a 501c3 designed to help children and families in need of kidney transplants. The B stands for Bennett, whose memory is embedded in this organization by his parents, Kristen and Dean. Despite the challenges he faced in his 16 and a half years of life, Bennett always had a smile on his face and spread kindness to everyone he could. Now, Always Be Smiling wants to pass on that kindness. Go to alwaysbesmiling.org to learn more and see how you can support or donate to this organization. The Bethel Park Community Foundation has money for you. I'm Al Levine, trustee on the board of this great organization. The BPCF focuses on raising money to provide scholarships, grants, endowments, and more. Grant requests are available online from $100 to $5,000. You can also attend fundraisers or donate. Go to bpcf.org to get more information and to stay up to date on upcoming events. The Bethel Park Community Foundation, focusing community resources, building for the future. The Bethel Park Historical Society is a 501c3 that serves Bethel Park. The Historical Society operates out of the Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, located at 2600 South Park Road. Look for the red and white trolley right out front. Reginald's Coffee is inside, and I've heard it's the best coffee around. To visit this great historical venue, email historicalsocietybp@gmail.com.
And now this message from BPTV.
Alas, poor talking machine. I knew him well. A fellow of infinite jest, of most excellent fancy?
Dave, I'm not dead. I'm still doing Pittsburgh Sportsline every Tuesday night and many other weekly shows on BPTV.
That's great, Al, but then who's this?
I don't know, but we must leave right now. Let's go.
South Park Theater is hosting its Party in the Park fundraiser on Saturday, April 29th from 4 o'clock until 7. There will be live music, beer, wine, hors d'oeuvres, and a slate of events scheduled for the kids. General admission is $40, 4 to 12-year-olds get in for $5, and children under 3 are free. Tickets are available at EV True Value Hardware, the Bethel Park Library, South Park Theater, or you can go online to bpcf.org. If you want more information, go online or call 412-760-9614.
Help save Pittsburgh police officer Jeffrey Crawford. Jeffrey is in need of a kidney donation. He's in stage 5 renal failure and he's on dialysis 3 times a week. He needs this kidney ASAP. To contact the UPMC donor registry, call 412-647-4438 or go to livingdonorreg.upmc.com. And to help spread awareness, use the hashtag #BlessJeff on socials. Let's come together to support Pittsburgh policeman Jeffrey Crawford in his time of need. Alex Reed is in need of a kidney. 2 weeks after college graduation, Alex's kidneys failed. A gracious donor gave Alex 7 years of life, but now he needs another kidney. To learn more about becoming a donor for Alex, call 830-285-2140 or go to kidneysolutions.org.
Not this year, but the one before. Yeah. If that's what you want to call it, I'm always getting dragged into something.
All right. I got my promo. I don't know, Rowan, can you focus in on that?
No, you're right there. That's all.
Am I right there?
That's all we get.
That's all we get? All right, I'm going to have to read it. This is for Zhang Taekwondo. They have 2 locations. The original is in Wexford. So Zhang Taekwondo, beginner special, 4 weeks plus uniform for only $30. And that's for both locations. That's the Wexford location and the Bridgeville location. And if you go there and say, Al Levine, the talking machine, Smoking Jim Frazier, or Nick VIP, Harry Callis, they'll give you a discount on whatever program you want, and they'll discount the deal for you. So Grandmaster Zhang gave us that, and I'll show it one last time.
And it appears I'm making an appearance sometime as well.
Whoa, special announcement.
Go and maybe you'll see me.
I know when he'll be there.
I can't tell you, though. Wait. Okay.
All right, we got the promos done. We got What's on Your Mind, Smoking Jim Frazier.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
coming at
you got to see Levine. I'm going to be very, very quick.
Okay, he's done, folks.
Says Smoking
I have
Jim
some names of some.
Yes.
I have some names to relate of some quarterbacks. Joe Namath couldn't probably walk from here to the door without pantyhose, but could throw for 4,000 yards.
Wow.
Dan Marino couldn't run,
Whoa.
but probably the greatest passer in NFL history. Dan Faust the same way. Johnny Unitas.
Air Coryell.
I went to a game in 1994 where the week before Steve Air McNair tore both hamstrings in his thighs. And he played in the game in the shotgun offense against Youngstown for the championship. Threw for 600 yards in the losing effort, but he played because he could throw. Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson the last 2 years did not play late in the season because if he can't run, he can't play.
Tell him how many games he missed.
I don't believe he can throw on the NFL level. Nick, what is the fastest way to a championship? The fastest way to a championship is to draft a rookie quarterback and put him on the rookie deal. And Guns, when you have that, when you have a quarterback on the rookie deal, then you can pay all the other players on the team. What I would do, because you're never going to win with Lamar Jackson, what I would do, I would draft Anthony Robinson from Florida, He's 6'4", 250 pounds. He runs a 4.4 40. He got a gun for an arm. I would draft him. I would get rid of Lamar Jackson. I would build up the rest of the team. Anthony Richardson can do the same thing Lamar can do. Run. and that's what I would do. I think that that is what's on my mind. I would get rid of a quarterback, Bobby Douglas, that can't throw, and I would get a rookie quarterback and build up my team and try to win a championship. Al Levine, the talking machine.
Now, Smoking Jim, I know you're a scout.
Yes.
But I'm caught off guard. I wondered what the point of your quarterback discussion was about. Did you have
the
a
quarterback
point?
discussion
What
is
was it about?
Lamar Jackson could have played with his injuries, but they didn't put him out there because he can't throw. He's useless to the team if he can't run. All these other guys can play even though they can't run because they can throw. I think a quarterback, the prerequisite for being a quarterback is you have to be able to throw. Lamar Jackson is a wide receiver playing quarterback.
Smoking Jim, one interruption.
Maybe a running back.
One interruption. You became a doctor.
Scat back.
I gave you the compliment you're a scout.
A slash.
Now you became
Slash.
a doctor. Well, why would you hurt yourself any more when you need a contract? So I think Lamar's pretty smart.
2 years ago, he didn't need a contract. 2 years ago, he didn't need a contract.
He was negotiating.
Maybe
5 games he missed the year before and 5 this year.
He says maybe.
I think that is
Just a little
smart.
bit.
So your financial logic is a little off with Lamar, but he's actually smarter
Would
than
you
you
pay
give him credit.
Would you pay?
I'd pay him yesterday in Pittsburgh.
He's representing himself. I guess Master P was busy.
Well,
Still representing Ricky Williams.
well, when the mistake on the lake gave somebody $230 million guaranteed money,
And?
that changed the whole dichotomy.
This
which you
guy's
get-
making more money than that now.
No, he wants it guaranteed. Like you're one of the Brittle brothers. Since you've been on the show, you've been off the show so many times. Luckily, I doubled your pay each time.
Is there anybody else in the NFL? There's 32 teams. Is there anybody else who can give him that much guaranteed money? And the answer is no.
Who would have given Watson the guaranteed money? Except
Everybody.
Cleveland?
Everybody. Because Watson
That
can throw.
much?
Watson can throw. Everybody would have.
You're so wrong.
Watson
on
can
that.
throw.
All right, let me ask you this. Then,
He
Smith.
beat Alabama.
I got a question.
For the national championship.
Pick me.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
thank you.
It's Guns time.
Do you think Daniel Jones would have gotten over $100 million without Deshaun Watson setting the ceiling?
Pardon me?
Daniel Jones got,
He got 160 million.
Yeah.
exactly. But I'm asking you, do you think he would have gotten that much?
Yes.
He don't
Even
deserve it.
Yes. Yes. He don't deserve it, but yeah, what are you going to do? He backed the team. Listen, Tom Donahoe, former Steeler GM, used to tell me, get them good or get them gone.
This is my
if you
Facebook
wait
dislike.
5 years, if the guy don't show potential in the first couple years, get another quarterback in there. They waited too long. What else can they do but overpay? Kirk Cousins been living off of that all his career.
Smoking Jim,
That's
this
what's
has
on my
been
mind.
this has been entertaining this week.
Thank
you. I don't agree with you more than 20%, but I'm good to go on that. And thanks for being respectful to the other two. I didn't get included into it, so I forced my way in. Guns, what's on your mind?
Just as a clip note, you mentioned Tom Donahoe. You know, I always say where politics meets sport.
Yes, every day with you.
Tom Donahoe is the grandson of the famous icon in Pittsburgh, the former mayor David L. Lawrence.
No
Wow,
way.
I didn't know that.
And he was born at the Point
That's
when they had
exactly right.
houses there.
Exactly.
You know how
Really?
beautiful the Point is and
Yeah.
the blockhouse?
I stayed at the Hilton a few times.
More than a few.
I'm not asking why. Let Guns,
Anyway,
Guns finish
what's
that.
on my mind? Let me talk a little bit about the Steelers. Every time I hear a Steeler report, all I keep hearing about is corners, and corners. We need a corner. Well, you know what, Tomlin? If you had a line that could rush, maybe the corners could play better, the ones that you have. I mean, you hear me say this all the time about defensive ends. You need some defensive ends who can rush the quarterback.
that are bigger, too.
That are bigger, absolutely. See, what most Steeler fans don't realize is that the defensive line is only in the 3-4 25% of the time. The rest of the time, they're in a 4-3. You got to have a defensive end that can rush. Particularly when you got outside guys who are going to be hurt, guys like Watt and them that you can't count on them not to be hurt.
He got the Watt disease, over 30, they can't play much.
There's some great ones out there. Clemson, Miles Murphy, who's a beast of a defensive end.
Who else?
There's the kid from Ohio State whose name escapes me right now, who's really good as well. There's another one from Iowa State. There's some really fast, good defensive ends, and a couple that can run the 40-yard dash under 4.5.
Wow.
Which
You're
is
kidding. Wow.
And these guys are 270, 280. I really believe that if they had one defensive end that could really rush the quarterback hard, that would make it so much easier on the defense, because these quarterbacks are getting so much time to throw the ball. Because if they cut TJ out and they triple team your main man Haywood, then there's no rush.
Yeah.
So that's my thought about the Steelers.
Well, then I got to interject. Then we might have a better run stop defense.
Exactly.
Because we're not stopping anybody.
No, we're not. How about the Pirates, huh?
They won the opener.
Woo! And you know what? They're playing better. Yeah. So I got a hairy eyeball on them because I'm watching to see what they're going to do with Ryan Reynolds. If nothing is true and I'm wrong, then he'll give Reynolds what he wants.
Well, what about the rumor they're saying $13 million? Any of your inside sources?
13?
I heard $13 million they might give him a year. Somebody told me they heard a rumor.
Not that little, no.
The fact that nothing is treating this Reynolds thing the way he's doing still makes my opinion of him the same.
Yeah,
that
it's not changing.
No, that he's not looking for a championship team. He's looking to see who he could trade and how much money he can do. And once again, sell the team already. And that's what's on my mind.
Thank you, guys.
Good job, man.
All right, Nick, VIP Callis on Pittsburgh Sportsline. What's on your mind today?
Well, from what I know about the Bryan Reynolds situation, sometimes in contracts you can put player opt-outs, which means that after a certain time, a player before a following season can choose whether to continue with the team or go on to free agency. And then there's team options that you have too, where teams can decide, do we want to keep you on the roster, or do we want to cut you loose to free agency? And so with Bryan Reynolds' situation, it seems that the number is right. They actually were talking about a 3 or 4 year extension for $106 million, but
4 years.
Yeah, but the problem with that is that Bryan Reynolds would get 1 or 2 years at the end to opt out if he wants to, and that's the problem. The Pirates are actually willing. They're actually willing to go and say, hey, we'll give you this much money, we'll extend you, but the opt-out clause is actually where things are going wrong. And the Pirates actually think are smart in this situation to not go for that deal, because an opt-out clause gives one side a lot of power. They determine how much money they're going to spend. For players, in an instance, a player could be injured and say before one season they could be like, okay, I choose to opt in because I'm still going to get paid because that's what the contract says. Or a player could play super well and then say, nope, I'm going to opt out. I'm going to get the highest amount of money I can for the performance. You saw it with Manny Machado. I don't think he's great, but he had a good season. He opted out of his contract with the Padres, and the Padres signed him back for even more than the $300 million he initially got in that giant contract. So in this case, if the Pirates signed him to an extension, they would be getting maybe 1 more year of control than they have right now. So they're basically saying, or Reynolds is basically saying, you know what, give me an extension, but give me the opt-out, which means that you have me for 1 more year of control, but I decide the next couple seasons whether I want to stay or not. And when you talk about rebuilding a team and being, and constructing consistent members of a roster, if he just opts out for money, which he's entitled to do, then what do the Pirates do? They lost one of their key outfielders, they lost an important piece, and they lost all the money. Or Reynolds doesn't play well, or Reynolds gets hurt, and then it's like, oh, well, now we're paying him an extra $22 million this season for him to not play or to play poorly. So I think the Pirates are actually smart in this case. They want to pay him, but they don't want the opt-out, which is powerful for Reynolds. And then one more what's on my mind piece. I don't hear anybody, not really anybody, complaining about the pitch clock in Major League Baseball. Part of me wishes Chip were here because I'd want to see his face. You mean baseball's not dying? You mean that the players are now being encouraged to move and not do things that are unnecessary and play with a purpose, it's unbelievable. No, okay, again, it was never about, baseball, kind of looking at this, again, it's never really been about baseball being, super boring as it, exists in the game. It's just about the players doing things with a purpose. Nobody wants to regulate themselves. Again, if the players can take years to get the batter's box or pitch, they're allowed to throw 5 pickoffs to first base. So again, you're seeing more now players play with a purpose. They're making plays with a purpose. They're making smarter decisions. Base runners are now encouraged to steal because there's a limit on pickoffs, and the bases are a little bit bigger. So it's all kind of, we're getting the things that we've been complaining about for a while, if you're on the old school side, like we don't run bases anymore. The Pirates bunted a run-in to win the game, or a sacrifice bunt by Austin Hedges, then a sac fly small ball baseball to beat the Reds on opening day. Wonderful, right? So I'm fine with it. I haven't seen much complaining so far. That's what's on my mind. Love baseball.
Great segment. I got a point to make.
Okay.
The bases, they're telling us they may have made a difference.
Yeah.
You went from 15 inches to 18 inches. Now, how does that do it? Because the 3 inches, you'd have 1.5 inches on one side, 1.5 inches on the other. 1.5 inches is making all these stolen bases. I think the rule with 2 throws to first base is creating the stealing opportunity in spite of the bases being huge, which they're not. So just in my opinion there.
Since I was contradicted, I just want to say 2 quick points. I think in a perfect world, Nick is totally right. But knowing Nutting, I have not seen evidence of any time since he's on that team of him looking like he's trying to build a championship team. So I ask you to just keep your eye open, because I'm telling you.
There are multiple reports suggest that he was offered $106 million. It's the opt-out clause that's the big.
Why should he? He made $62 million last year by giving fireworks to the fans.
Well, no, both sides were in agreement, and then the opt-out clause was the problem.
Just like I told Steve about the Penguins, 3 months from now, you're going to be saying to me, wow, he did it again. Because Nutting will always be Nutting as long as he owns that team. And as far as the game being faster, I have kids your age and older, and it's a typical young thing. Kids know the cost of everything and the value of nothing. You don't appreciate the value of the ballpark and all. Everything's got to be done. I got to be there. I'm in a hurry.
No, like I said,
I think that's part of it.
Just do things with a purpose. That's all. Not, I'm fine with a baseball game being 3.5 hours.
Sometimes
do things with a purpose.
Hey, sometimes you got to be like Snoop Dogg and just sit on the beach and drink
Corona.
a Corona and just let it chill.
Well,
you don't always have to be doing something.
Well, that's just fun for the players. I don't want to go out and watch people just like, oh, yeah, we're having fun. That's like why the Pro Bowl, I think, is rough, because they're just having fun on the field. That's why nobody cares.
I'm going to say one final thing to you. Anybody that's over 40 that doesn't think like us hasn't got no brains. But anybody that's under 40 that don't think like you don't got no heart. So I appreciate where you're coming from.
I'll take it. All right.
Guys, wow. I'm almost at a loss for words. No, I'm not.
God forbid, right? Yep. You're the machine.
Thanks to Marco watching us, Marco Rodi.
That's
Amy,
my man.
Amy's watching us. Jim Ellenbogen's watching us somehow. Chief Chuck McElroy's watching us. Ernie Keegan, our man, one of the best authors I know in Pittsburgh. James Quinn's making his first book into a series of shows. Wow. So he's going to be on Netflix possibly.
Nice.
Johnny Mariano couldn't make it tonight. He's watching. Amy said, hello, guys. Happy Easter, everyone. And William Price is watching. I don't remember him ever watching our show.
William Price is the greatest weight trainer.
I salute you.
Nice. He trained two of his nephews. One is that Monty Clay,
Monty Mesa Clay. My life is a
That's
movie.
his uncle, and he trained him. And the other was that All-American linebacker that played for Pitt a couple years back.
Mr. Price, tell Monty Mesa Clay that you met the talking machine, and I salute him. One of the greatest fighters that I've seen in the last 10 years.
Well, I remember a football playing Price for Woodland Hills that was pretty good.
There you go.
Yeah, that's... Hey, he trained me.
And he got guns.
I got him from him. He trained me.
We got guns here. All right.
He's Lucky Price is
What's on my
greatest
mind?
Iron Man there is.
What's on my mind to all of you that like brackets? I never saw any reason to do it. I enjoy, with my background of basketball history in my family, I enjoy the games. And I didn't care who's number one, who's Blue Bloods or whatever else. I saw Iowa State with somebody named Caitlin set a record for scoring, had back-to-back 40-point games that nobody had ever done in the NCAA. And then in sports, like Smokin' Jim, he's known for saying in football, win or lose, which they always won except when they cheated at Gateway, he wouldn't shake anybody's hand. And me and Nick are quite different from Greentree. We'd shake anybody's hand.
Country
Good game.
boys.
Way to go. So that's the Gateway difference. So why is there a controversy about you don't see me and all this stuff? Two great athletes. I like the interview that Caitlin gave. She goes, I didn't see anything. She's a great player, Reese, and she had no problem with it. She said her team did great. She hoped she inspired others. Now, whatever the other team says, whether they're black or white, why are we always bringing up black and white issues except for my best friend? It shouldn't have come about in the thing. And then with participation trophies, I only mention this because our president's wife is a teacher, principal, and wanted to bring the losers on the show. Smokin' Jim said, when I said, what do you think of that? He goes, everybody loves Caitlin. Bring in Iowa. And we know how he thinks and what he sees. So in this day and age, to me, talking trash or whatever, I understand it. And after the game, I'd rather salute somebody, say, hey, nice job, Nick. Smokin' Jim, you're so arrogant, I don't want to shake your hand. Guns, don't hit me. Great game. That's how I would end the game with this panel. So we're going to end it on that note that I'd rather stay positive and enjoy the games. And, UConn, I went to bed at halftime because I told my son they're going to blow them out. So the Blue Bloods came through. UConn's won 5 championships in 25 years. Wow. So the Big East is still alive, although in a minority now, because you don't have all the money going there. So for all the people talking bad about it, I saw some great basketball. And just enjoy it. We're going to go to Fiction and Fact with Smokin' Jim Frazier in 10 seconds. Pens are losing. You can't hear me.
Thanks, my main man, Roe, doing a great job back there on the ones and twos. L. Levine, the talking machine.
Yes.
If it was me, like Roberto Clemente used to say, for me, I would have both teams going to the White House. I think this NCAA boosted women's basketball to another level. I think that would help take it to a whole nother level. I think that why not? Both those teams play well.
Many reasons.
But I think for women's basketball, I think that this was probably the best year ever for women's basketball in college. There's a lot of parity there, not just UConn. So I'd have both of them go. But what's on my mind is the NFL draft. Fiction and fact from Soviet. I always said that
I was going to interrupt.
With the first pick in the first round, the 17th pick, I know Guns would disagree, but
Did you talk to him earlier?
I'm just saying, if Pickett is your franchise quarterback, he wants Jordan Addison, a go-to receiver. I would get him just to appease the quarterback. I always said that for that second pick, the 32nd pick, I would take Baby Crunk, Michael Meyer. The third pick, I go with a white linebacker, Drew Sanders with a black name from Arkansas, 6'5", 4.5
Shout
40.
out to my son Drew.
Great athlete. But I'm going to change my mind with the second pick. We already got a great tight end in Freiermuth. So now I know this is going to make Guns mad, but I'm like Chuck Noll. I believe in taking the best available athlete. Steelers wasn't going to take Rod Woodson with the 10th pick, but he was the best available athlete. He fell to them. There's my number 1 rated cornerback in this draft. Nobody knows him. His dad played many years in the NFL and the CFL as a 6'3" cornerback. He's a 6'3" cornerback. He's 210 pounds. Led the nation in kickoff returns. Great punt returner. Runs a sizzling 4.3140. Can jump out of the gym. Got an NBA vertical jump. His name is Isaiah Bolden, and he's from an all-Negro school, Jackson State. And that's who I would take.
Why'd you have to bring that up?
That's who. Well, people may not know that it's a black school, Jackson
Why didn't you
State.
just say his school?
Jack, do you know what Jackson
Yeah.
State? A lot of people that's watching this may not know
Why do you
Jackson
think
State.
everybody's dumber than you?
Everybody don't know. There's
Why do you
baseball
think
schools
they're all
that don't
dumber
know.
than you?
People mention baseball players.
Why won't you answer my question?
So that's who I would take. You never heard of him, did you?
Never.
I would take him with, if he's there, I would take him with the 32nd pick overall instead of Baby Crunk. Isaiah Bolden. I'm the first one on the
I got a
planet to
question
mention
for
his
you.
name.
You were against them getting rid of Claypool, and we
Yeah.
got a second pick. It's number 32.
Yeah, I was against that.
How'd that work out?
It
He's
worked
helping
out-
you with your pick.
Yeah, it worked out good.
So thank you,
I
Chicago.
was against it. I mean,
Did you change your mind
I'm
on
only
that? too?
right 97% of the time.
According
But this,
to who?
But this is my highest rated unknown pick
Ever.
since I scouted Southwest Louisiana, now Louisiana Lafayette, Ike Taylor. I was the only
How
one to
long
have
ago is
him.
that?
Now I'm the only one that got Isaiah Bolden.
We salute you, Smoking Jim. We're just not that smart.
Is that
selected.
97% statistic from the fiction part of that almanac? Okay,
I concur.
fair enough.
It is.
Understood.
All right. Thank you very much. Paul Haley's watching. Thank you. That's about it for now. We're going to go to special Jim Ellenbogen segment, Guns. He's counting down.
Well, as Smoking Jim said, I do disagree with him. You could have the you could have the greatest engine in the world, but if you ain't got no tires, you ain't going nowhere.
Good point.
Great point, Guns.
Good point.
First draft should be either an offensive tackle to really get that running game going, because I think they recognize the fact that they don't think Pickett's going to be up to where they want him to be, so the running game is going to be so key. With those two Philadelphia Eagle beasts they got, and they get a good rookie at that left tackle, I think we got something. My second draft would have to be the defensive end, just
Wow.
like I was saying.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
You're not changing your mind because of Smoking Jim.
look, they've
Thank you.
invested so much money in the defensive backfield the last couple of years, but you know what I mean.
Highest payroll defense in the NFL.
Exactly. So, you know what? Great respect for my friend here, but as a former corner, I don't agree with you.
Anymore.
Yeah, Penguins losing 1-0.
2-0 now.
Is it 2-0?
Yeah.
Keeps dropping.
You know, the thing about it is, I lay this all at Hextall's door, and I'm going to tell you why.
All right.
They knew 2 years ago what the hockey situation was. And instead of going out there and getting another goalie that could do the job, he let it ride. So we're in this position now because we don't have a goalie that can do the job,
Right.
and the other one's hurt every 5 minutes. So unfortunately, I gotta lay it there. And my final point is getting back to the women's basketball.
Yeah.
I think this was the greatest thing that ever happened for women's basketball because it even had me watching it.
Yeah.
You know, but I will say one thing, and it's the one thing about sports that just aggravates me more than anything, and is when they gotta make it political. Now that young lady from LSU, trash talking didn't bother me, but when then she started in on the vice president and made it, or the vice president,
Or the president's
the
wife.
president's wife.
Yeah. Jill Biden.
Right. After she started, whether she's right, wrong, or indifferent, she made it political, and now sports has become politics. And that just irritates me, and especially when it's drifted all the way down to college.
Yeah.
And I just think we need to get back to playing the game and the demographic and statistics of it instead of just making everything political. You know what I mean? So
I agree with you, and I didn't give an exception to Smoking Jim when he said the losing teams can come there. But how long has it been a tradition that football teams, the winning teams, would be there after the Super Bowl? And then we had a guy that Smoking Jim thinks was a mentor, James Harrison. He was a tormentor. He didn't help anybody. He only showed 1,000 pounds lifting every day, spent 100,000 on vitamins, and he said he couldn't fly. He couldn't fly to the White House. And you want to invite losing teams?
Yes.
To go to the White House?
Women.
Why would they want to go?
Women.
see, and I think part of that, and you mentioned it before, we come from a generation where when you got beat, you went home and cried, and then
Did better.
your parents said, okay, shake it off and get back out there and do.
Yeah.
Jill Biden's a teacher, and the teachers today are all about everybody gets a reward, everybody gets a prize, everybody gets to win. So I don't think her mindset was what the media is trying to make it. It was racial or anything. I just think as a teacher,
It's her lifestyle. It's her work style.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
It's that new way of thinking with kids. So
No, exactly. And no offense meant to any teachers out there that may be watching the shows. You have one of the hardest jobs in the country right after Smoking Jim Frazier. We don't know what he does.
But these young teachers, and I can say this, I have 2 children who are teachers who are probably going to ostracize me. But we come from a generation where you laid in bed sick for 2 weeks before they took you to a doctor.
Explain to Smoking Jim what that means when they ostracize you.
Oh, I'll have to. I'm
After
still
the
working
show.
on a few other things.
Truancy's still up there at the top of the list. All right, that'll
We're
be
still
later.
trying to spell Mississippi. So.
Does it begin with an M?
Well, we're getting there. We're getting there. So I don't know. I just, like I said, we drank out of hoses. Imagine that today.
Yeah.
I know.
So
Yeah.
just different generation, different way of thinking.
And by the way,
Shared mouthpieces.
no. We never shared.
Wore other people's helmets.
We never shared
Imagine that.
mouthpieces or jock straps like they did at Gateway.
Just to tell you the difference, I talk about concussions today.
Yeah.
My helmet was a little loose. Do you know what the coach did? He tied a handkerchief around my head. That's it. And if anybody wants to know, yes, that's why I'm like this.
All right, we got to move on. Thank you, Guns. I agree with what you were saying because I'm from that generation.
Right.
Smoking Jim, we don't know what generation it is, so you can't butt in.
There's pictures of him with President Grant.
Wow, right after the Civil War.
Smoking Jim is timeless.
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm going to get my books out with the pictures there from back then. They started taking photos back
Him
then.
and Shoeless Joe Jackson.
Whoa, they were together in the cornfield. Field of Dreams. All right, let's go to Nick VIP Callis.
Yeah, Chip's head's got to fall.
All right, I'm frustrated. I'm going to tell you why. So, the people are excited about Pirate season, it seems, because we got what seemed like an infinite amount of callers to one of the post-game shows that I produced with Dan Zangrilli on The Fan. People calling in, talking about, we lost against the Reds. Yeah, everything's terrible, spending money and stuff. But, that's all fine. We hear that. But got a couple opinions that were kind of interesting. First one was Travis Swaggerty's the greatest outfielder the Pirates could ever have, and why is he not up in the majors yet? Which I was kind of like, maybe that's, I think he should be up too, but maybe that opinion, that is a bit of a stretch. But then they're also talking about my guy, Austin Hedges, who is notorious this season so far for bunting a runner to third for O'Neal Cruz to hit him in on a sac fly to beat the Reds on opening day, but the guy can't hit. And So they're all like, well, I cut him. We need a catcher that can hit as well. What's up with defensive stuff? Like, nobody cares about defense. You need a guy who can do both. And I'm like, oh, okay. You all know, I'm sure by now, that I caught for a significant amount of my baseball career through
you caught baseballs?
Pony League. Yeah, I caught baseballs, but
at
the catcher position, right? I get it. I know. We know about Smoking Jim's troubled and mispuzzled past with baseball. So, we don't know what happened, but neither does he. So that's okay. But anyway,
Carry on.
But that brought me back to a conversation I heard in 2014 when I was playing AAU, and we were driving to a place listening to Major League Baseball Network, the radio version on Sirius XM. And that was back when Yadier Molina, if you remember, for the Cardinals, and Jonathan Lucroy of the Brewers, they were really good.
I do remember.
Right, so who's going to be the starting catcher for the All-Star game? And a caller called in and said, well, really all they have to do is squat behind the plate and catch the ball. So really it comes down to hitting. And I was like, wow. I was like, oh, wow. Really? Is that it? So who should start? The guy that can hit better. Okay, yeah, because that's what makes up a catcher. Now that infuriates me, and I'm kind of getting shades of that when I listen to some of these callers call in like, why is Hedges on the team? He's not the permanent solution. I think we can all understand that. He's a former Gold Glove Award winner, though. He's great defensively. He's not Josh Van Meter catching, if you remember how that went last year. So you need a bit of skill to catch and to, to play the position and to man, the field and to protect the baseball. And so if you're of the mentality out there that catching is squatting behind the plate, go away. I hate you. I'm serious. Like, if you're watching baseball and you don't value how important, how difficult it is for catchers to catch the ball, it's like sacrificing your body. I mean, there's chest protectors, but they don't cover your entire body, and it still stings a little bit because there's only so much absorption material you can put on those chest protectors before they start to weigh you down too much
How
to
about
move.
a bat to the head?
You take bats to the head.
How many times did you get hit bats to the head?
I got hit in the wrist before with a bat. I got hit in the mask.
I don't remember.
With a bat. I mean, it's bats, balls. You got to run a lot.
Aren't you backing up first and third?
Yep, that too. Depends.
How did they
on the
not
scenario.
know that?
So, I mean, here's all I'm saying, though. I mean, if you're out there and you're seriously like, you have that opinion, okay, catchers don't do much, or we need more offensive catchers. I mean, ugh, I don't like it. I'm frustrated with that opinion. I mean, there are so many examples, too, of good offensive catchers in baseball. Gary Sanchez is one who is now in the minor leagues, used to catch for the Yankees. Had some shades of good defensive play, but was a good home run hitter, but eventually got lazy, didn't run very well. Now he doesn't play for the Yankees anymore. There's a reason why. So take it for what it's worth. It's not like the Pirates are trusting him to bat third or fourth. Right, they understand, okay, he's not going to hit well. He can play a role, though, to sacrifice a runner with a bunt. But also his defense, not seen all the time, but very important. That's the opinion. Respect catchers, please. Thank you.
John's got a point.
I have great respect for catchers because, especially at my advanced age, anyone that could stay on their knees that long has my great respect.
No, there you go. Just think of Yogi Berra.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying, yes.
How many World Series did he have?
A lot.
And how did he last all those years?
Considering some of the things he said, I'd like to know how many times he got hit in the head.
Well, I'll just say this. From what I heard, it was too many. And Amy said, Nick, like your BP TV shirt, she must have had a magnifying glass on you. What does she have, a 90-inch TV?
Thank you.
And then Marco, another homer for Reynolds.
Let's go.
That's our update.
All right,
Go Reynolds with the contract.
That's 3, right?
106. Yeah. He had 2 yesterday.
Pay him.
That's 4 on the season then, because
Yeah.
didn't he homer? No, that
And
was
what
Cruz
about
homer.
that delay? He hit a nice homer over the Green Monster.
Yeah.
Did he
Drew
hit
and
it
I-
over the Green?
Shout out to Drew, said hi to Nick.
Hi, Drew.
Drew and I, he goes, you want to put the game on? I go, I hate to, but let's take a peek. Bang! Delay hit the homer as soon
who
as
did
we
that?
turned on. A Pirate.
I mean, what's his name?
Jason Delay.
Delay. Delay. Like now we're going to move on to me and my segment without further delay.
Moving right along.
All right, I think I'm here. All right, on location, we had one of our best, longest shows in Pittsburgh Sportsline history. Smoking Jim Frazier, I said earlier, he beat us to Providence Charter School, which is the only school in America that has Taekwondo on the curriculum. That means it's one of their classes, Smoking Jim. Grandmaster Zhang took me to his office, and he has 3 different rooms that were wrestling rooms, Guns Nose North Catholic, and they're all Taekwondo rooms with other different things in there. So I got to see where he teaches them. We were there from 8:45. We got there after Smoking Jim at 7:59. And what we saw there is from nonstop action from the Providence Charter School, which they're dyslexic and have learning disabilities. And you'd never know the performances they put on. They were all in sync with their formations and their actions and their skills. It was just amazing. Other schools, North Carolina came, Buffalo, Michigan, I think Ohio. So we had people from all over the area. I reconnected with a couple of the black belts and Grandmaster Kalinsky and Diane Steele, my friend on Facebook. And it was just a great event from top to bottom. We're going to have about a 2.5 hour show when Nick's done editing.
Oh, definitely not 2.5.
Okay,
we'll get it under 2.
You know what? When I tease it a little bit, I get Nick's expert opinion. Chop, chop, chop. And I interviewed anybody that Grandmaster Zhang brought to me, and I was honored to have these Grandmasters from Holland. What was his name? Casey Parker?
I forget.
My good friend.
Casey, he came up to Smoking Jim and said, I know you're from Buffalo.
Coogan.
Yeah,
Jackie?
Casey Coogan. Then we had another legend from 1972, Mike Warren, one of the toughest guys in Taekwondo. He took on anybody worldwide. Then another guy who became his partner in their school, Amos Johnson. I got to interview them, and it was just so legendary.
Them black guys look young, didn't they?
Well, Johnson was 71 years old, and he goes, do I look younger than Smoking Jim? And I said, yes. And Mike Warren gave me the greatest compliment. He said, I had heard he was shy and didn't want interviewed, so I finally talked him into it because I got to do it. So I said a 2-minute interview. We went about 5, but halfway he's wiping his bald head, and he goes, Al, I apologize. Now, this is a legendary Taekwondo guy that could have broken my face with a kick, and he could have elbowed me to death. I would have lost eyes, nose, and teeth. And he's saying, how am I doing? I go, well, let's get all these facts out and who you fought. He didn't want to talk about it, but I got him to finish, and he came up to me at the end and he goes, hey, Al, I'm sorry I disappointed you. I said, Mike, you answered every question. He goes, I was sweating. I go, that just added to it. One of the most humble guys. All 3 of these legends were so humble. And it was great to be there. We're going to be back with Grandmaster Zhang. Last year, we did 3 shows for him. We won 2 awards, Greater Pittsburgh Media Award for their grand opening in Bridgeville. Then Nick and I were up there at the Pittsburgh Zoo. Smoking Jim don't know where it's at, but they had the Lantern Festival at the zoo. And what we filmed Providence Charter School doing and the parents that came out, just the respect that they have. Smoking Jim wondered what they're all bowing about, and they're trying to fight each other and hurt each other. He always says in boxing, hey, Machine, do those guys have bad blood? I go, no. Yesterday I told him, nobody here fighting or in this building has bad blood. So he witnessed it, and there's silence there, but we saw it. We just saw great performances, and we'll be doing the 1-year anniversary of their Bridgeville Zhang Taekwondo. Like I said, check it out, Chartiers Valley Shopping Center down there. You can't miss it, right next to LA Fitness. And they're offering discounts on all their courses. I told them I'll get you 3 or 4 people. So if you're interested in Taekwondo, you can get it for a discount over whatever he charges. They may cut it in half, he said, for a couple months or more. Just mention my name. So check it out. We were honored to be there. We have boxing coming up in Monsville Prison. Wait till we go to that haunted prison again. And Nick's just stellar with all the camera work that he does. And Smoking Jim and I have already been asked again to announce ringside and beside the ring for our show. So we're going to alternate. I defer to Smoking Jim. Seeing him walk up in his hat and his suit, couldn't get a better thrill in my life watching him go up there in the ring and start doing Smoking Jim Frazier. It's just awesome. So that's what I have on location. Anybody interested in bars, restaurants, or any group that would like us to do a show there, me and Smoking Jim go on the road, and we have guests that are involved in sports and athletics. So, Guns, you want to point?
No, are you off that subject?
Yeah.
Now, I just wanted to mention those who are into horse racing, that the Kentucky Derby will be in a couple weeks. And this weekend, if you're interested in horses, there's 3 major races.
I'm always interested.
There's 3 major races this weekend that the winners of the 3 of them will all go
To the
Derby. One is the Santa Anita Derby. It's Santa Anita Park. Another one is the Arkansas Derby, which is at Keeneland.
When is the Derby? The 5th of May or something?
6th, I think.
6th of May.
6th or 7th.
Cinco
And the
de
Woodward, which is a great race out of Aqueduct in New York. So if you're interested in horses, take a look at those. Of great racing.
Well, I like all the thoroughbreds, but I own standard breds, and I enjoyed them much more because I could pet them and feed them apples, and then we won races. We didn't just have them to show, so we were competitive and won races at the Meadows. So
I like the
enjoy
speed
that.
of the thoroughbreds. You know.
Follow Guns. If you can meet him in person, just ask him, who do you like in this race?
I've given out retirement plans. I'll tell you one thing. You mentioned the Pittsburgh Zoo.
Yes.
I don't know of any interest, but I worked my way through high school and college.
We would like to know about you. You're a man of mystery.
I worked my way through high school and college as a zookeeper in the Pittsburgh Zoo.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's why they say I was so nasty on the field for learning from the animals. But
No, that is so interesting. I think that's so cool. I've had friends of mine that worked at Kennywood, and they told me that. I always thought that was cool, but to have somebody work at the zoo, know elephants' names, and feed elephants and other animals, Smoking Jim didn't want to sit on the back of a horse at the Meadows. I can just see him now at the zoo. Hey, Guns, I'll be there in a minute.
put him on the back of an Indian elephant.
Yeah, he'd look good on that elephant. No, that's a great story. How long did you do that out there?
Well,
A couple years?
4 years of college and 3 years of high school.
Wow.
7 years at the zoo.
Yeah.
That explains it, folks. I got the secret sauce.
I'm going to tell you what's really weird, though. Whoever's house I go to, all their pets sit next to me. So I guess you never get that off you. I don't know.
Wow.
That's a great. I love that. I can't top that, Guns. You got it.
When's Cinco de Mayo?
Boo! Terrible question.
It's like,
When is
You
it?
don't, you don't speak Spanish? All those women you talk about? The 5th of May.
It's a May. Okay.
he's legend.
Can you just explain what truancy means? I just would like that.
He loves Cinco de Mayo. All those little kids with sombreros go, you know my dad? They show me the picture. It's him.
Oh, wow.
On that happy
You don't hear him
note,
denying it.
on that happy note, we got to thank all of you for watching and tuning in. Tell your friends we appreciate all of you. I appreciate your comments that I can see. I can't always see who's watching or whatever, but please stay Joey strong.